Hey guys, one of the things we often overlook when selecting a new rod and reel combo is rod balance. What we're talking about with rod balance, if you're not familiar with it, is when you're holding the rod, is the rod tip heavier or lighter than the butt of the rod? So when you're holding it in a standard position like you would when you're fishing, does the rod tip tend to go down or up? You really want to try to get it as level and balanced as possible. And to find out if your rod is balanced or not, when you're simply holding your rod in the position you would when you're fishing, simply let go with everything but your front finger. And you'll often, like the one I have here, you'll see the tip of the rod dips. In that case here, it's not a balanced rod. The reel is basically the correct size for the rod, but the tip is still heavier than the butt of the rod. What do I want to do? I want to weight the butt of the rod to bring it up to balance. So when you're basically having the rod balance in your hand where it normally would be, so the tip's not down or up, that's where you want to have it basically as level as possible. There are some retail available kits that you can buy with different types of weights and stuff that'll go onto the butt of the rod, but there are always some cheaper options that work just as well, and in some cases look just as cool. And in this case here, if you're not familiar with them, go to your local hardware department store, pick up some end caps that go on, say, chair legs, bar stool legs, table legs, that type of thing. So it's a rubberized caps that go on the end. What you want to do first is measure the diameter of the butt of your rod, see what the diameter of that is, and get the one that's closest to it at your local store. I prefer to get the black ones. So what you're basically going to do is stick this onto the butt of the rod, and this is almost exactly like the ones that you would purchase if you go to buy one from your local tackle shop or order one from one of the big, outdoor retailers online. If this isn't heavy enough, you can always load it with, like quarters or washers and things like that to add it. But in most cases, the weight of this piece of rubber is heavy enough to balance your rod. So again, all you're going to do is take the butt of your rod and simply slide that onto it as far as it'll go. And it actually looks pretty cool. And a secondary thing that you're going to get, the benefit out of this, is actually going to make your rod a little bit beefier and tougher on the bottom of it. So especially like me, I like to use cork. It's going to protect the end of it. So if I'm, setting it down or, or drop it or something, it's going to be a little bit more protected there. So now, do I want to check it? Yep. So I'm going to hold the rod like normal, and I'm simply going to release it. Let's go over the side so there's a little bit more room in here. Hold the rod like normal. And I'm going to release all but one of my fingers. Now just my index finger is on it in the same basic position. And it is exactly balanced. Okay? That's really pretty cool. Just the weight of that piece of rubber was enough to balance a rod. Again, if I needed more weight on the butt, I could simply take it off again and put washers in it or quarters in it, and just a little bit will work. But in a lot of cases, the weight of this piece of rubber is just good enough and perfect, like in this case here. So the tip really comes in handy. If you go out and you buy one, it's going to, go online and look at your local tackle shop or go online and look at them. They're going to say fishing rod balancing kit. Well, again, it's basically the same exact thing. The rubber here may be a little bit thicker, a little bit heavier. So if you're looking for something a little bit lighter than the weight of this, you may be out of luck unless you get one of the retail available ones. But in that case there, the rod's going to be pretty darn well balanced anyway, because it doesn't weigh a whole lot. But just a good, quick, easy tip for you. So go to your local hardware store or department store, pick up some chair leg in, caps, and see if it'll fit on the butt of your rod if you need to do some more balancing. But having a balanced rod is really important, because think about it, when you're on the water for, say, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 hours, especially during the summer, holding your rod, how to put a little bit of extra effort on the rod tip to keep it up, or jigging it, really does put a lot of wear and tear on your, on your elbow, and you can end up getting tennis elbow, things like that out of it, or you just can simply wear your wrist out. So tip might help you out. Go to the store, pick one up, see if it works for you. As always, be sure to subscribe to the Fishyaker YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and we'll catch you on the water.
Fishyaker.com, the original kayak rigging video series.